Hi guys, my name is Samuel. I'll be teaching ReactJS, a JavaScript library created by Jordan, an engineer from Facebook. The main purpose of ReactJS is a library for creating a user interface. Don't forget to subscribe so that when I upload a new videos, it's easy for you to follow the series. Good morning everybody. Today we are going to learn conditional rendering in ReactJS. The things that we have in need in order to accomplish this lecture together, you need to have an editor. You can have any kind of editors that you prefer. If it's Notepad++, Sublimer, but for me, I really love using VS Code as my editor. It's a very nice. It has a lot of plugins that can help me in every point when writing my codes. So from here we are going to create a folder in our project here. Now if you don't have a project, you need to go and download it from a React documentation or from React website. It's easier for you to get it. But the simplest way, if you're using VS Code like I here, it's you just go to your terminal here, and from the terminal here you create new terminal. Inside a terminal here you write npx, so you write create, here it's dash, then what, react dash app. From there you will write a name of your app, maybe my app, if this is the name that you prefer. So when you hit enter, meaning that the application of React will be downloaded to your editor. Okay, that's very simple that way. So what we are going to do here, as I said, we are going to create a folder from our source here, and this folder I will rename it as a component. Component. Okay, now inside this folder we are going to create one file and call it conditional conditional.jsx. that way. Now there's something you need to understand. I'll upload another video which is talking about components. In React we have two types of component. We have a functional component and we have a class component. Each one has its use. So later in this course I'll give you a tip what is functional component and what is class component, and why do I in this lecture I have used a class component. Now from here we need to import React. How do we import React? We can import an easier way, a structure of our class. Now the reason, as I told you, that why do I like to use the VS Code is that in JavaScript it's very simple to have a snippet that I can write a less code and generate a template of what I need. Now for example here I'll use E7, like I can write R C E, and you can see from there I have this one. Okay, so I have generated my class component very easier without even toiling a second. So how do all these magics come from here? You can go this side here and you write here ES7. Okay, so we can see here this is a simple extension for React Redux, okay, and in GraphQL in JS or TypeScript. So this one here, if you don't have, you just click it. Already have installed these plugins, so you install for you. Now after that, it's where all these things here can come very simple for you. Now Before doing what we needed to do, we need to understand how many kind of conditional rendering do we have in ReactJS. We have 4 types. The first one is if else, the second one is element variable, the third one is ternary conditional operator, and the fourth is the short circuiting operator. We are going to see one after another in this lecture. So let's be together. Now inside of my component here, I'm going to generate my templates of state. That means I'm going to write my constructor inside here, of which I'll have a constructor of inside of it I'll have a state. Now I'll write just in short r const. So you can see here when I press enter already I have my constructor of which inside of it I have a state here. Now we are going to write our state here inside. Now I'll try to write a simplest thing or a simplest logic that will be for the sake of our lesson here. Now what I'm going to write inside of this state is I'll writing is logged in. Then I'll write true. Okay, or for this statement, because we are going to start with the if else statement, that means is a condition which comply with the two states or with these two situations, either true or false. So at the beginning from the state I've decided to write it true. Later we'll write false and see what the changes is applied with it. Now after that we are going to here at the moment I'll take off this rendering and the div part, and inside of our render method where it comes a concept of conditional rendering, that inside our React then we need to render the conditions. So here it's where we are going to write our condition. The first is we said we are going to say if. Okay, if what? We say if this key dot state, okay, dot is logged in. If this is state, okay, now we need to return something here. So we are going to say return. Okay, what do we return? Let we return our div here, of which inside our div we are going to write a text. What do we need to return if this statement has been satisfied the condition of the state which is true? So we say welcome. We need to display in a browser a text welcome Samuel. This is what we need to display. Now else, what do we need? We are going to write here return. Okay, then our div, what do we need to return? Welcome guest. Welcome guest. So if the condition will be true, we're expecting that in our browser, then what will happen is a text welcome Samuel. But if the state there will be false, then the condition or a display from a browser will be welcome guest. But since our state here it's true, we expect that this return condition here will be fast because it's true, complying here with this state. Now before getting rendering to our browser, we need to render this component to app.js. Okay, so we are going here to app.js. Sorry, and I'll take this off here, and I'll take also this off here. Okay, so what we render here, we render our component. Our component is called the conditional. So I'll write this way, and I write the name condition. It's there. So I take this way. Now we have something here. Normally, it's like not complying with the imported one here, because we need this one to be actually a lightning color like this one, but this is not working as we are expecting. Now in JavaScript, normally when we are writing a component, we need to make sure that it's in a capital case, that the first letter should be in capital, and if you have two words, that means you need to write it in a camel case. So I'll go here to my class and I'll right click, I'll say rename, and at rename here, then I'll write a big C. Okay, now okay, so here it says always updated. I can see, okay, so it can help me to update the what my components. So I'll change this one here to be in capital letter. This is C. Okay, and here we need to import the same name as our component. Let's see. Okay, now you can see here that we have this kind of color which is quite different from the beginning. So let's go here to component. Also we need to change this one here so that they can have this unique, and here we need to change it to have a capital C. Now this is how we can sometimes figure out some errors that can happen while developing. As a developer, you need to experience this. Having bugs and solving it should be your everyday, like taking a cup of coffee. Okay, so after already we have rendered our component here, what we do next is we need to start our server, or we need to run our application here. So I'll go here down to my terminal, I'll write node package manager, then start. This is just a key for starting up our React. While starting, I can tell you now, as I told before, that we have two types of components, that we have functional and we have class component. Why did I decided to use a class component at this lecture? The reason is very simple, that here in class component that we have used, we are using a state. That's why we have decided to use a class component. In functional components itself, it's a stateless component, meaning that it does not use a state. Therefore, since we are looking for state, then we cannot take, or we cannot opt a functional component, because it cannot handle what we are in need right now. That's why I've decided to take what? To take a class component. But also I will upload a video and see. Okay, now here our project is running up, and let's wait a second and see the magic here in our browser. Also, well, it's working. In a class component, also we say it has more featured compared to function component. And a class component normally take a complex UI rather than a function component. Okay, now we can see from our browser here, it's welcome Samuel. It has been displayed the way it has, because here the condition here is true. So when it comes to render here, it obvious return the first one, because it's one that comply with this state. Now let's take a look. If we say this is false, okay, let's go to our browser. Welcome Kirsty. Now this is how we do with the conditional rendering. Now let us jump in another conditional rendering, which is element variable. Now with element variable, what we do here is also very simple. Our state will remain the same as this one here. We don't need to change it. We'll reuse it. But what will change is just from our render here. So I'll clean out this one here first. After cleaning it, what we do, as the name says, that is element variable. Now here we are going to write let, we let what? Message. Let message. Okay, this is the variable that we are going to use. So after there we say if, okay, this dot state dot is logged in. Okay, so here we go. Now inside here we are going to call our variable, which is message, then we say equals to, then we render here a div. So this is div. Inside our div we write a message here. We say welcome Samuel. Okay, welcome Samuel. Or here we say else. Okay, we call a message, which is variable, equals to, then here it's div tag. We say welcome guest. Welcome guest. Guest. Okay. Now, after writing this one here, we have not returned yet. So if we go to a browser here, we are not going to see an error here that your render method should have a return statement. So we come back here and we have to render it. Okay, so I'm going to render it here down. So I'll say return this div. Okay, and inside of a div, what do we need to return? We need to return that message. So we'll put the curly brackets, okay, and we say message here. Okay, now let us go to the browser and see what has been happened. Welcome guest. It's welcome guest because here the state is false. Now let's see when the state is true. Here it's true. Okay, true, and let's see to browser what happened. Welcome Samuel. Very simple. You see? Okay, so already we have blended the two types. That is if, else, and the second one, element variable. Now, let us go and see a ternary condition rendering. Now, with ternary condition rendering, again, what we are going to do, we leave our state as usual, but what we are going to do changes is it's in here in our rendering part. Okay, in our rendering parts, so when we are going to clean it up like that one. So we are going here first for the ternary, we are going to say return. We'll put our return part here this way. Okay, and then what do we return? We say this dot state. Okay, dot is logged. So we put here a question mark here. Okay, we're asking this dot state is logged in. Okay, so down here we say div. We can write our div here and we say welcome Samuel. Okay, after writing it, in the end here we put the two double comma. Okay, like this way, and down here we are going to have our div again, div, then we say welcome who? Guest. Okay, so now with the ternary condition, it's a very short statement, but it has a great meaning. That the meaning of this question mark here is like if this is true. Okay, if is logged in and this comply with it true, that is the meaning of this question mark here, then display Samuel, welcome Samuel. Else of this notation here, double dot, then what? Guess. So since here we have a state of true, okay, we do expect that in your browser we are going to display welcome Samuel. Let's go and check it. Welcome Samuel is here. Now if we change this one here from a state and write that is false, meaning that we do expect welcome guest. Here we go. So congratulations for knowing a third rendering method in a ReactJS. The last one is a short-circuiting operator. With the short-circuiting operator, again, it's very simple, very simple, my dear students. So we take this one off here, as we always did. Now, what we do here is very simple. We say here in return, okay, what do we need to return? This dot state dot is logged in, okay. Then we say button, then here we write our div tag, and inside our div tag we say welcome Samuel, okay. So that is very simple, like that. Now it's like magic that, wow, why this one is too short? Let's go and see. Now since here we have a false, let us going to see, meaning that here what is happening is, if this condition is true, okay, then it is going to display here what is a true written statement. But if here it's false, meaning that it's going to display nothing to a screen. It's a little bit different from the other three conditions. That this one here, we don't have the second chance, that maybe bring this one here, okay. An alternative of a short-circuit operator is, if it's not true, then it will bring us a black and a white screen, okay, as we can see here. Now let's see if we write here true, okay, we write here true. Let's go here, welcome Samuel. Thank you so much, dear student, for listening and having your time with this conditional rendering. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to turn on your notification and also to subscribe for the next video.